I have in my hands 4 shafts that are the same but different. All 4 of these shafts are a stiff flex, but we've got the 105, 110, 115 and 120 in the Modus. And what I would generally expect from something like this would be for the performance of each shaft to sort of go in order. I'd expect it to go 1, 2, 3, 4. But I don't think that's going to happen on these because the step pattern is progressively in a different place. I've got the 105 closest to me and the step pattern starts here. Then we go down here for the 110 and then we go back up again for the 115 and then right up here for the 120. So the 120 has one straight bit all the way down here and we have that straight bit a little bit shorter on each one, but it doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see how that influences the ball flight. I'm looking at the initial launch angle, spin rate, peak height from each shaft to see what we can expect as a general behavior. I'm going to hit all 4 of these on the same head, which is the Srixon ZXi7 on -2. So 2 degrees flat brings the ball flight to the right hand side just a little bit because that's what I need. Let's go progressively. Let's start with the 105. And when I last looked at the 105 against the 120, they did the opposite of what I thought, which is a bit odd. And I'm going to use a Srixon Z-Star Diamond because that is my golf ball of choice. Oh, first swing of the day, let's get a glove. So 3 warm-up swings. I'm just going to bring the green a little bit closer because I'm not hitting as far as I was before. There we go, and drop and stop. Oh, close. There we go, we're in the full swing of things now, warmed up. I will cycle back to the 105. So I'm a bit more familiar with the 105 because I was fitted for it in my own irons, albeit in an extra stiff instead of a stiff. But I know that profile of shaft, I like the feel of it. Let's go into the 110 and see if I feel anything different straight away. I might not. It's 5 grams in theory. But if I remember, I will throw up the actual weights of each shaft here. Ooh, 110. Now the 110s took a little while to hit the UK market because the American market seems to get everything first. That fell a little bit easier through the ball. Maybe first feeling was that it went a bit higher, but we'll see what the data says at the end. Ooh, a little bit easier to turn left maybe. Does feel quite easy to get through the ball. That was a tiny bit heavy. Definitely doesn't feel the same. Can't quite put my finger on it. Definitely easier to hit left. Okay. And 115. Screwy, screwy, screwy. Ooh. I prefer that to the 110, even though I've only hit 1 ball. Now in terms of getting fitted for your golf clubs, I absolutely recommend a fitting. This can give you a guide of maybe what to sort of try first. The shaft bends and the shaft releases into the ball, and if your pace is too much for a shaft, it will bend and release at different rates and give you a bigger spread. So trying out different shafts is really important, even if you're trying out the standard shafts that don't have an upcharge within a set of clubs, to see which one sort of like matches your frequency, matches your load, matches your release, and gives you the tightest dispersion. That to me feels so much more solid than the 110, especially someone who loads differently in the backswing might get more out of the 110. I'm finding this harder to hit left so far. And I actually sort of tried to hit that left, and I wasn't trying to hit the 110 left, but it did get off the green to the side. That's still on the green. So that 115 to me feels just a little bit more solid. Yeah, I like that. Tidy. And then let's go 120. Wow, that's different again. I'm really impressed at how different the same model of shaft is, with different numbers written on here. And I did find this last time with the 120. I feel like the 120 has a bit more bend and a bit more flex in the shaft. So where that's higher up, it's sort of moving quite a bit up here, maybe a bit less down here, but it definitely does feel that little bit smoother than the lighter alternatives. Rocket. There's that little left bias in there. Still on the green, nice. And I'm going to cycle round and hit 2 more balls with each shaft, just to make sure I wasn't colder at the start, warmer at the end. So we go back to 105. That familiar feel to me. It's weird going from the 120 to the 105. It does behave differently. Yep, nice. Beautiful. 105 done. Back to the 110. Yeah, if you want to draw the ball or you want to get less fade, 110 may well be your friend. Yeah, okay. So that little left lean. Cool. 110 done. 115. God, it does feel more solid. Is it thicker at the bottom end? Doesn't look any different thickness wise. Oh, maybe it does. Maybe it looks a little bit more girthy for a little bit longer here, which is where I'm feeling that extra stiffness here, because it's just that tiny bit thicker there, just to my trained eye. Not actually measured it when we're talking like very fine margins. I like that. Oh, just off. So that's 115 done. And the last 2 with the 120. Ah. So it's like the 110 and the 120 have quite similar patterns, and then the 105 and the 115 feel like they group together a little bit more. And I found this last time with the 120 against the 105, but it is that little bit easier to hit the ball left. I felt like that should have squeezed right, but it didn't. I mean, with the 105 finishing the last 3 shots there, 183, 183, 183, I'm gonna get the best 3 out of all of these. So club data wise, I had less rebound off the 105, and I got more rebound off the 10 and the 15, slightly less on the 120. My swing speed was pretty close to the 95 marks, so 95.5, 95, 94.7, 95.1. I had path was in to out on all of them. I'm within 1 degree from top to bottom. Maybe that extra bend in the shaft helps me get a little bit more in to out. Maybe that reduced bend in the shaft helps me get less in to out. But with the weights here, we are progressive in the same way. So my path is progressively more on the heavier shaft, progressively less on the lighter shaft. I've hit down about the same amount, so they're all within 0.7 degrees of each other hitting down, so call it 5 degrees on all of them, with a good tolerance there as well. Ball speed wise, slowest with the 105, okay. Fair. The launch angle was all quite similar, so most out of the 110. I did feel like I got a little bit more shape out of that, a little bit more ease through the ball, but it did go further left. But all within a decent tolerance there, ball speed wise, all within a decent tolerance there, launch angle wise. Highest with the 115, lowest with the 110, but it's 0.5 degrees between them. Spins, pretty much the same, higher spin than 105, which is why I liked the 105 when I got fitted, because I wanted just that little bit more spin from there. The 115, second highest spin, very close, slightly tighter tolerance. So that's probably not a bad thing, but distances between all of them is within 2 yards. 183, 185, 184, 185. I'm splitting hairs quite a lot. I don't think we need 4 weights in their shaft, but we do. So peak heights, we've got 105 is 116 feet, 110 is 116 feet, 115 is 118 feet, 2 feet higher, and then 116 again on the 120. So I'm getting the same height with all 4, apart from the 115 being 2 feet higher. I wouldn't really worry about that. Draw spin, 115, 120 is just over 500, just over 500. Do we get less on the other 2? We get more on the 110. So the 110, I've got 700 side spin, 700 draw, and I've got the least side spin on the 105. Again, because I get more spin and less draw on the 105s, I prefer them personally. If you need a bit more draw, if you lose the ball to the right hand side, 110 is going to help quite a bit. Angle of descents are 49.5, 49.3, 49.8, and 49.3, not much variance there to worry about either. So I feel like with them, we're getting the same sort of result. They're just moving through the air just a little bit differently to one another. There's a slight progression to it, but I do feel like the 105 and the 115 are more closely matched to each other, and the 110 and the 120 are more closely matched to each other feel-wise. We've got more backspin and less draw spin on the 105, so it feels stiffer in the tip, so it doesn't kick into the ball as much. And then when we go down to the 120, we're getting a bit more bow, and the 110 as well, we're getting a bit more bow, we're getting a bit more draw off of those two shafts because they feel just that little bit softer through the ball, so the face can shut down through it a little bit more and give you a bit less fade, more draw kind of thing. But jump in the comments, have you tried any of these? If you're in the UK, you probably haven't, because the 110 and 115 has only just become available, but we might start seeing those sorts of shafts as standard shafts in sets of irons maybe next year. Don't know, we shall see. And don't forget to hit the like button because that does really help the channel. Trying to get a little bit of growth going, but you know, I'll get some more content out and maybe you'll enjoy yourself.